Hello everyone, it's Elena and I'm back with another video, and today we're going to talk about time management. There are three things which I pay attention to when it comes to coming up with a system for managing my time. First, it's having blocks of time for doing all my tasks. Secondly, having a list of all my tasks and ordering them by priority. And lastly, sticking to a time plan for getting everything done. And here's how I manage my time. First, let's take a look at calendar blocking. Calendar blocking is a system by which you block out different time slots for doing certain things. So this is what my calendar usually ends up looking like. You can see that there are quite big blocks of time scheduled sometimes, and those are just study blocks. So in this time, I will work on different subjects, whatever I have to do. And the way that I create this schedule is I first put in all my lectures, then any deadlines and tests that I have, any appointments, meetings, and then I schedule all my study time around that. And then you can add everything else that has to go into your calendar. I used to also block out my free time, but I've kind of stopped doing that. I just leave it empty. I mean, it's free time anyway. Normally it's important that nothing overlaps, but as you can see here, free events are overlapping, but that's because two of these lectures are just uploaded, so I can do a study session and just listen to these lectures whenever I want to. So it's fine that these events are overlapping, but normally you should make sure that nothing is overlapping in your calendar because, you can't split yourself in half and attend two different things at the same time. Once you've set up all your time blocks for getting all your tasks done, it's important to get an overview of what you need to do and to know which things you need to prioritize. And I use the Eisenhower matrix for figuring that out. So basically this maps all of your tasks on a coordinate system which considers urgency and importance, and this gives you these four categories. So for example, urgent but not important are supervision essays for me because they don't count towards my grades, but you do have to hand them in by a certain deadline. And then for example, non-urgent and non-important are blog posts because it's just a hobby, and while I really enjoy it, it's certainly not as important as my degree. And then urgent and important are my supervision readings because I do have to do them by the time of the supervision and they are important for my revision. And urgent but not important are revision notes because you only need them at the end of the year. Same for things which have a far away deadline. I use a different organization system for these different categories of tasks because I find it helpful to also separate them so that I don't get distracted by one list of tasks while working on the others. So for tasks which are neither urgent nor important, I use the Things Free app. Then for non-urgent but important ones, I use Todoist, and for the rest, I use a black notebook, which I always have with me. And here's why I use these different systems and which benefits they bring for these different types of tasks. First, let's take a look at Todoist, which I use for non-urgent but important tasks. So this is what the app looks like on your laptop, but you can of course also use it on your mobile devices. And it's super simple to use. You just put in your to-dos and you can also add a deadline and you can get reminded of the thing on the deadline. And the cool thing is they can send a reminder to your email inbox because I tend to miss these push notifications. It's especially great for reminding yourself about deadlines that are still far away. So just schedule a few reminders for the thing so you don't forget to do it. Next, Things Free, which I use for non-important and non-urgent things. Here, what's great is you can have a ton of lists and you can just dump all of your ideas there. So for example, I put all my ideas for YouTube and my other social media there because these things are at the end of the day just hobbies, but it's great to have a place where you can dump all of these ideas so you are not worried to forget about them. And this is what it looks like. So you just have a long list with all your to-dos or, just ideas. And whenever you take something off, it will just disappear. One great thing is that you can actually create headings so you can keep a bit of an overview of what your ideas actually relate to. And of course, you could also use any of these apps for all of your to-dos, but I just prefer to separate things. And lastly, my black notebook, which I use for all urgent tasks. So this is actually my old one, which I just finished, and it was kind of sad to finish it after such a long time, but now it's time to start a new one. I usually use a double page, and the first page is for all actually urgent tasks. So there I just write down everything, and if there's a deadline for it, which usually if it's urgent there is, then I will just write that down as well. And the other page is for non-urgent things. So these are things for which I've already gotten a Todoist reminder but which haven't become super urgent yet, so I'll just record them there so that I won't forget about them. And I like having all of these tasks recorded on paper because if they are on your laptop or on your phone, it's easier to go to other apps and get distracted. And the other thing is, by having it all just in this notebook, it's also not that easy to go, for example, to Things Free or to Todoist and just work on other tasks which might be easier but which aren't actually as urgent and therefore shouldn't be prioritized. Now that you have a list of everything that you want to get done in your time blocks, it's important to also follow your schedule. And the first thing to keep in mind is that your study plan and generally your time plan needs to be realistic. It needs to include enough buffer time in case things take longer than anticipated, and also a lot of free time. If your schedule isn't realistic to follow, then you will not be able to follow it. And it can also help to establish a routine. So try to schedule the same kind of blocks at the same times whenever possible. I tend to do all of my study blocks from 8 to 11 and then again from 1 p.m. to 6 p.m. And it really helps to do things at the same time because you just get used to it. Another thing that can help you stay motivated is to write down a list of your goals. Ask yourself, what are you working towards? Why are you putting in all this effort? And then take that list and put it somewhere near your desk. So when you end up getting distracted and you start procrastinating, you will start looking around and eventually you will see that list. And it's a good reminder of why you should get back to work. And for me, that usually does the trick. If you're getting distracted by things on your phone, you can use the Forest app, in which you can grow a virtual tree and you set a timer during which this tree will grow. And if you leave the app while the tree is growing, then it will die. And I know that doesn't sound harsh, but trust me, from experience, it is pretty hard. So you don't want that tree to die. Fun fact, you can also create rooms and then grow trees with your friends, and if one of you leaves the app while the tree grows, then it dies for all of you. And if you're looking for people with whom you can grow a tree on Forest, you can also join my Discord server, and in the studying area, we also have a text channel just for Forest links, so you can just create a link to your room and people can join and then you can study together. And on my Discord server, we also have a channel for talking about study techniques and stuff, and one for to-do list where you can share your list and we'll check in with you at the end of the day how much you've gotten done, and it's just kind of nice to know that people are cheering you on. And we also have study rooms where you can join and study together with other people. You can turn on your camera or not, whatever you prefer. If you guys would like to join my Discord server, you can click the link in the description box below. There's also a book club on my Discord server, but of course you can also just use it for studying. And yeah, those are all my tips for managing my time. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and thank you so much for watching. Have a nice day. Bye!